Let me just show a couple current examples, and I'll do one from scratch of just like kind of showing all sorts of different movement options. Um, so in Serum itself, as you know, we have LFOs, and those can dictate the filters. You can also have it dictate the whatever parameters you have here. So, for example, if you have bend, right, you can have this guy just move between that. Um, and so what this is doing, there's a couple things that's creating movement. So there's a couple different LFOs. This LFO is, if I enabled it here, I think the point of that was just to give the movement to the sub here. It kind of dips in, dips out. And this is for the vibrato. So if I go to the matrix here, you'll see that macro 1 here is being treated by LFO4. It's just going up and down, and it's to the main tuning and the filter of frequency 1. So it just kind of widens it up a bit. So that's just like a little guy, and then this is actually additive. So the LFO is moving the cutoff, but this is expanding it further on the frequency, so it creates like a different tone altogether. So you can just like automate that, and then you're gonna have a completely different, like you'd have a phrase on a motif for this being like a call or response or a mid bass, and then maybe the next measure or bar, you're just like, okay, we're gonna do it here now. It's like all the same movements, style and good stuff, just a little slightly different. And then obviously just there's more filters here. I don't think there's nothing on the distortion. Inside of Serum, there's also, like, if you already know format bases, what's this sound? Very dispersy, I think. This is phase plant, yeah. Yeah, this has alphas, moving, distortion, filters and stuff, and OTT and disperser. But you can add movement and post effects with stuff like this. This EQ, I have all of these guys just kind of put up, and then the scale is modulated from here, and the frequency is the location. So you can put an LFO to it, and this is the same thing, just has 7 as opposed to 5. Anyway, so if I started from scratch, I'll just take this same, I'll just actually duplicate this, turn that off, and pull in Serum. So yeah, let's keep a saw. We'll keep the LFO movement the same way. We can put it up on the level. What's this guy? And then add, maybe make this octave higher, make it a sine wave, bring random down, PD, right, for me. Try and find a sweet spot where you get a little bit of it. All right. You can have a filter, pretty standard filter with resonance. Drive up, make it fat. Right. And then, like, you can do a bunch of stuff with anything that has a filter or any sort of frequency. So, like, even a phaser has a frequency knob, right? So maybe you pull back the. Even distortion technically does. You can add it here. You can also add the amount to a drive of distortion. Now let's say we're getting those subs. You can have this go to direct and have sync. So that OTT just so I can hear it better. Pull this guy out. You can also sync, bend, PM, which kind of does that, which you could just also do here. You can add parameters here. We can warp, sync, right? You can pull this guy. Maybe just a little bit. Maybe instead of this, you can do a filter here as well. You can do distortion, odd evens. So I think what it is like here is the normal right in the middle. And it squares it here, and then I'm not sure. Maybe keep this an octave. Or maybe make this a sine. You see this movement here in the middle? It's coming from the phaser, I think. If I turn this off. Just still a little bit. But it's adding more notches, I think. It looks like. And up this. And yeah, let's like add another OTT. And then maybe add another filter. There's like so many different new filters that are fun to play with. I like the diffuser. It's basically like a disperser almost. The acid ladder is also really nice. You can add the dispute. Whoops, flanger also has. Does it? I feel like it. Maybe not. But you know, it does, you can definitely get movement from it. Hyper at the highs, probably more, actually can add, hold on, we'll add that after. Actually splitter and then add the on the highs. Dimension sort of, and the amount of spread. Speaking of which, you could do the same thing here. Maybe just like add some detune like that. You could also add a little bit to, like, maybe use a different LFO and do define, and then we'll just go to the matrix, right? Make it a little bit. And then, right, another filter. You can have filters going opposite directions. So like we have the sub currently going out into main, so we're only affecting oscillator 1 and 2 at the moment. So we could do another filter, maybe going the opposite direction with resonance, and then so maybe like this, but like that. Maybe you have it before, just right back to back. You can also have an EQ and do the same thing. Maybe you gain, make it a notch, and you want to go like and maybe you could do the same thing. You could do like the gain here. I never know how you can just like always make it the way I want it. Right, maybe do frequency as well. Maybe you get a notch, and do it the other way. To me, this sounds like it needs highs, right? Because we have this filter doing some cutoffs. So you could do another EQ. We could just be like, hey, let's just add to the highs. I'm probably wouldn't be using all of these, but I just wanted to show examples of different stuff. So maybe we turn some stuff off. Let's turn these filters off. That sounds a lot more interesting. You can add the diffuser, like I mentioned before, filter. You can do comb filters are also really nice. This guy, add stages all the way up. Yeah, change the resonance. You can also add movement, but it's a little, for the diffuser, it's a little, you want to kind of usually find the sweet spot for it. For this, you could go, so we have this to filter 1. It's one of the first ones we did, right? Filter 1 frequency. You can have mod the amount go to macro 1. There you go. So but you're able to control the amount of that. Should be. You can do this. Yeah, I liked it with the volume here. It sounded more interesting. Maybe use a different filter for oscillator B here. Maybe a flange. I like these guys are nice. Nice 36. And could have some movement there on the resonance, just a little bit. You could have this guy pull this down, maybe we PD or FM from C. That's something I would probably LFO. One of the main advantage to having everything on one LFO is you can change the shape. This goes to sub, this goes to sub, this goes to sub. Which one is this going to? I think something in effects, right? And maybe, I don't know, maybe we don't want the disperser. And then I'll do one more. If convolute, you can have some crazy stuff. Is it convolute I'm thinking of? I think so. I can't. You could also move wave files, audio into these and modify yourself. I think it's these parameters you mostly want to mess with. Probably move it up. Yeah, you know, you got a patch, and then you can start adding other things in post. You can add a corpus, you can add convolute here, you can add roar, you can add a bunch of EQs with different frequencies and doing a bunch of other movement within. You can just have like an EQ going like, with an LFO going like. If you have like kilohertz stuff, you know, you could do like a flanger to add like some width, right? Uh, do the opposite. It also adds movement. There's a Uzu I recently started using. A5 brought this up. It's really fucking cool. Adds shit ton of different types of movement. Control which side you want it to go. Where you want it, you can have the sub cut off so it's not affecting the cub and the speed. Yeah, that's a million things, I guess, for movement.